Aloha. This video I just wanted to kind of see where it goes anyway, because for those who don't know, and I guess that would be the most people because I haven't really said it that many times, but the videos that I put on this channel are videos that are made because like they can't not be made on my end, like a piece of art that can't not be painted, something that's in your head that can't not be written. You have to, there's something in your like a artistic drive of some sort to do it, but it's not just art, it's there's something else attached to it. And all of the videos that I've done, the titles are the attachments. So it's the titles are the doorway into what the attachments are, just like the questions that somebody raises to a guru or a teacher of some sort. In this particular video, I want to focus on the teachings or the perspectives of UG Krishnamurti. The questions imply the attachments. The questions imply the limitations. And I broke this down in the video, in particular, the Corporation of Love and Truth, where I was explaining how certain gurus approach questions overall. So the guru approach is usually focused around the keeping the question in mind of the questioner, like all the limitations and everything. So there's information that comes from that. And then there's the perspectives that the so-called guru has, and through their own experience and their wisdom and whatever they have learned and so on and so forth. And they have a way of not only interpreting what comes in, but expressing what goes out to both interact with what's coming in and keep in mind all of the experiences and the intelligence that has, to put it lightly, because it's not intelligence, to be going into what UG Krishnamurti says, and I can't say that I'm saying like it's exactly what he's saying, but what I can perceive, like how I perceive him coming at all of these questions, it involves like I've been saying in previous videos, the experiencer. This is the consciousness. We talk about the experience and the experiencer, but we never really go into the depths of both of them. As far as we go into the depths into the experience, we've been dealing with the reactionary bullshit from the false experience. So yeah, the heliocentric universe and all the things that have been designed to make you hate and question and destroy your own self, hate yourself to your own implosion because of all of the things in the experience. And then you have that also includes and goes right into the experiencer. You don't know anything about yourself, so you hate yourself. You don't know anything about the experience, so you destroy the experience. And what you do know has been given to you by the system. And the system also has its own interpretations of the experience and the experiencer. And those interpretations are meant to be your interpretation. And that authority of that system that has not only given you your interpretations of the experience and the experiencer doesn't even allow you to think, let alone generate any kind of solid basis for, you know, what this experience is really about outside of their mind controls. That's the design here. That's what we're dealing with when you have people who are defending, for one example, Western ideologies, Western cosmology, Western so-called intelligence, Western so-called civilization, Western, like all of these are way the hell down the line of getting separated from the original point and the original observation and getting into this adopting and accepting of authority and belief systems. How I break it down on this channel is that there is an obvious authority and belief system that is circled around the system of so-called racism, white supremacy. This is just like what UG Krishnamurti brings up when he references this this authority of thought and like evolving change. So there's so many different ways how RWS is involved in what UG is talking about as far as like control measures. But what it really boils down to is how I see it. Like one way that it really boils down is the authority to have something else think a reality for you. So it's thought up an entire realm within the space of, so let's start with duality. So you have the, like UG says, in order to love, you have to also hate. It implies hate. So that statement in itself already destroys the entire New Age community and the love and light agenda and all that other bullshit, because it doesn't spend equal amounts of time going into what hate is, both the downfalls and the benefits of hate, and it does everything to focus your attention, which is supposed to distract you if it's imbalanced like that, to focus your attentions and intentions only on love. I'm glad I mixed up and said intentions, because the love movement and the truth movement is also, and even more so, designed to channel your intentions, because that's where the magic happens. It's in your intention. Your attentions bring your intentions to the party. And then once your intentions get to the party, then your intentions are affected by your attention. And then what happens is the people who are throwing the party are deciding what your attention should go to. So you're in there partying it up, and you came there with your own intentions, but you lost your intentions because you wanted to be a part of the party. So in that illusions of being a part of the party, Western cosmology, Western civilization, success, and all that other bullshit, you've lost your own internal intentions, your soul intentions, whatever you want to call it. Even using that is another separation from what UG was saying. But everything is basically, but to add some color to it, so we can see it a little more clearly, because that's why he did those discussions, so you can see it more clearly. The attention is what, like the commercial that attracts you to the party where you're supposed to install your intentions. When you get to that party, you have rules that you have to follow. So what are the rules in the system of racism, white supremacy? You can go through the laundry list of that, but you can see how that can limit your experience at that party. By the time you finish at the party, or by the time you have, by the time you're ready to start to play around with your intentions have been completely adjusted to by the attention of the party itself. So that party, which I'm saying, based upon what UG was saying, that party could be like loosely broken down to the system or the observation of duality, the light and the dark, the system of other than. So you and, like, there's a separation between you and me. Why? Because there's a whole bunch of belief systems that you have generated through your observations over your experience over time that says you're separate. There's a space, there's a time, there's a distance, that like it takes this long to get from here to over there. You were born from this mother and this parent. I was born from this mother and this parent. Your body is like this. My body is like this. You can see how all these are definitions. Like, the words aren't the thing itself, like you were saying in that video, that short clip I used. The difference between the table and the chair, like the difference between you and me, like what is that? That's called a table. That's called a chair. I'm called Leano. You are called whatever you're called. And then, you know, we go on from there. I grew up from here. I'm over here. I'm a man, you're a woman, this and that, like all whatever it is, we have these definitions. So basically it's the words that generate the universe itself. So the experience is generated by our own generating of the universe through our lack of for one example, our lack of trust in many different ways, but our lack of one way to explain it is our lack of being able to let go, and our over complicating things. So you can see in the oh, I can just click on it in the thumbnail used here. Okay, so in the thumbnail used here, you can see like the darkness is basically like you being born. Like you're born. You are all of these experiences that you're looking at. You're the culmination of everything that you can, like the distractions aren't there. You are all of yourself. So when you're being birthed into this dualistic world or realm, you're losing something. And what are you losing? You lost your memories when you were born here. You lost everything. In that losing something, you're also gaining something. What are you gaining? Well, your mother and your father tell you what this reality is all about. They install all of these belief systems. That's red. That's a square. That's a blue car. That's an airplane. That's not an helicopter. That's not a helicopter. That's an airplane. That's school. You're supposed to be at school on time. Did you do your homework? So you can see all of these things that are developing who and what you are based upon the experience that you have been birthed into. And who birthed you here? Did somebody else do it to you, or are you the soul that's in charge of your soul, whatever that is? Because that's another side thing. But anyway, so like, how are you the victim of that? You see what I'm saying? So you have all of these concepts that are downloaded onto your hard drive that are extra. That's what I'm saying in all these videos. All that shit, all those belief systems like the American dream and the pride in country and the love for country and all that other stuff. You can see how that's how this system has gotten so far out of whack. It can't even be honest with itself. Like it says, God bless America, but it has no relationship with what they call God, and it has no relationship with what they call America. So, you know, what the fuck are you really talking about here? These are cartoons, these are video games. But you can see how there's entire people, generations upon generations, who were born and died over hundreds of years, that lived their lives having a love, generating a love and a consciousness and a relationship with those ideas. They sent those so-called values down to the next generations as if, why? For some kind of purpose. If you're coming from the perspective of racism and white supremacy, then you can understand that purpose is to maintain the establishment for the benefit of a particular group of people at the expense of the people that they're saying that aren't worth anything. So that's taking duality and then, you know, splicing it into triality, you know, and then even from there it goes in, you go from black and white to not only you go from black and white, or you go from the complexity of, well, black is fucking shit. It's horrible. You guys are dumb. You're not smart at all. The best thing you can do is play football and basketball, you fucking beastly assholes. And then you have the white people who are in charge of the university system, the presidents of the United States. They are evolving consciousness through technology in the university system. They are conquering the primitive and savage people of the world and evolving their consciousness from the old monkey animal, you know, ways with their dumbass spirituality, evolving it into what we're supposed to be doing, which is merging with technology. You know, see, so that's how they're arrogantly, and that's how they're like trying to push the universe so far into their grossly Just, yeah, it's disgusting. It's it's a it's a complexity that is not needed. Just the same way there's like why the hell is a 4-year or 5-year-old on any kind of schedule in kindergarten? You know, why does a 4-year-old being bombarded by all the commercials on television? There's an intelligence behind that. It's a purpose. It's a meaning. It affects them a certain way now and when they get older. We just brush it off because you have a trust and a belief in the system of being benevolent for some kind of whatever. And that benevolence has been also installed with the idea that this is all on purpose. So you think the system is benevolent because you think that they told you the truth about monkey evolution. You think the system is benevolent because you think the system told you the truth about landing on the moon, and it was for your benefit. You think the system is telling you the truth because you think the system gives a fuck about you because they make food stamps and they made computers and cars and roads. That's another thing they say all the time. If the government is, this goes down, who's going to do the roads? Who's going to who's going to pave the roads and build the bridges and all that shit? That's that old baby boomer intelligence that I can't even call it intelligence. It's just mind traps that are existing out there. So I don't want to get too far into that because this whole channel has been basically designed to expand upon that. So you can see the complexities, these extra for nothing complexities for no reason. But you can see even more so with Yuji's approach, what I was saying in reference to this system generating an entire universe, an entire consciousness, an entire version of your soul that can now be, so you can see how now all this shit doesn't exist, but now let's look at how they said it does exist. Well, they've said you have a soul that can be put in like a cereal box, hard drive and stored for later, and you can live forever. And then potentially that box, that cloud of your soul, that soul cloud, can now be installed into a body, and then that's basically all you're limited to. So like I've said before, in previous videos, if they are saying, or it's saying that it has control over your soul, like if it downgrades your soul to where your soul can now be put on a hard drive, you're buying into that belief system. So you're buying out of your maximum potentials of the experiences by buying into the maximum potentials within their limitations. So when you buy their fast food consciousness, you are selling your own experience away from yourself, because you can't, you've bought into a world. Just the same way that you're looking at this thumbnail right now. This person that is showing you, so you can't see their eyes. So they're saying, hey, welcome here. This is a world. This is a place. This is an experience. You're on this checkerboard reality. There's not much going on here. It's just black and white, but it's cool. And if you want to learn more about what this is and who you are, because now by having that realm of duality, now you have a reference point for yourself. Something other than yourself. You are now you, and the experience is now the experience. So now, welcome to the experience. All is possible here. You can achieve your biggest dreams, but remember, you will also be, in the experience that will have, there's probably just a small writing, like you're told only about the love and the potential, the awesome potential, the vacations and the people and all that stuff. You're all that stuff. Welcome, do all this other stuff. But it's always saying that the potential to the balance, the opposite side of that, is going to be the experience itself. You can't have, like UG says, you can't have love without hate. You can't have the two. So, but what's televised all the time? Love, constantly. Only when they need hate will they televise hate. Hate is needed to go to war. And then hate is for what? To expand more love of country, more love of, yourself at the reference point of an enemy, against the reference point of another enemy. So what I'm saying is that once this experience invites you into the complexities of it, the further and further you go into it, the further and further you get away from yourself. So you go from your experience, which is not yours, it's all of ours at the same time, and then we entered into the world of duality. So now we are formally saying that I am me and you are you. We've all agreed to this in this world that we now experience with duality. So like, I am me, you are you. That's the table, that's the chair, that's over there, that's their belief system, that's this. And then the system said, hey, wait a second, we could take advantage of this, we could sell this shit. We could say, wait a second, I'm me and I'm you, but we're all of us and that's all of them, and we're better than them. We're white people, those are black people. And if we can convince the rest of the people who are majority, 9/10 of the people on the whole earth or in this experience are so-called black, or not white is a better example. In their eyes, they've created it. They've generated this idea. White, well, I don't affiliate that, so I'm not white. You want to affiliate that, well, you can call yourself white, but I'm not that. So they've said they are this, and we are something else. What if they said, well, since they're white, then we're black? So what they have done with that alchemy, that trickster magic, is said, well, let's just convince them that evolution has designed something to separate from that which was black and create something that was better. And that better is the way we are, the way we run the world, the way we run society, the way we run our families, the way we have a relationship with God, the way we take care, or the way we interact with nature, the way we invent and imagine, the way we think, the way we take care of society, and the way we generate all these ideas about psychology and philosophy. Everything is about how we think it is, the so-called white people, the evolutionary peak of this experience. So this is where white and black and race fits in the realm of duality overall. So we just went through all those years over time believing what they've said because everybody else has agreed to believe it. And there's so many books that complicate that whole experience, and then you just have reference points. Those are more reference points to your belief systems. So in order to believe that, you have to believe yourself out of your own self. So you not only have to believe that they're amazing, you have to also believe that you are a piece of shit. So this is why the system of duality has personified this white and black perspective in reality as a complex version of duality overall, to distract you from what Yuji was talking about, the potential that comes from dialing into the original code, the code itself. See, everybody has these micro codes. Once you get further and further, like imagine coming from the darkness of all, like you're all the experience. You don't have any limitations, and you're not limited by the experience of like a dualistic realm. But you see this and it seems interesting, and maybe you haven't done the duality realm before. Maybe it's new to you. Whatever you is, like I'm still spitballing too, because the idea of you is outside of Yuji's perspective too at the same time. It's this whole like needing a reference point. So I'm using this to explain as best I can is, how how UG is seeing what he's seeing and how it fits in the perspectives of the system. Let's say the system now is aware of what UG has been saying and now has manipulated that consciousness over time up through the people. How has that happened? That's where I'm coming from. And in order to explain how, you have to use reference points. And if you're using reference points, you're going to be like going against what UG has broken down. But like I said, I'm not trying to explain what UG, like that's not, it's not something to be explained or shared or something like that, like he was saying in his videos. I'm emphasizing what I have already done with this channel and how I have seen my own mistakes over time and how I've interpreted those mistakes and where I was on the right track. Because there's two things that's going on. There's things that are way out of line, like I said before, me holding on to the concept of the term human. The same way the same thing as me holding on to the concept of the soul. In comparison, because that's a reference point to the soul in reference to like zombies, like soulless people. So that's another version to explain or add some color to the colorless realm, the dead realm that we're talking about. So back to what I was saying, the complexity. So you show up to this realm and this is what it looks like. And you think, hey, that's pretty simple. I can handle that. Like if it was a video game and you're just like going into the introduction screen or whatever it is, you're like, this video game looks pretty simple. You're like, okay, yeah, you think so. And then you go into it. Boom. And you're on that checkerboard, right? And you can play around with black and white for a while by yourself. You can have all the extremes out there, but it's just you. It's just you there. You don't have any reference points to back it off of. And the only way you can step out of that just you and black and white is to what? Step into that mirror, to step into a deeper version of that realm. So you have to go from duality into a more complex version of duality. So you have duality with the experiencer, but what if you had duality with multiple experiencers or the illusion of multiple experiencers? So that can be similar to envisioning yourself going from your soul, your centered self, becoming aware of the dualistic realm, tap dancing on that checkerboard floor of the black and the white, the realm itself, often on flicker rates, light and dark, magnetic, electric. Like you get all that, right? You're there, but you're still by yourself. You have the experience of being by theirself. There's nothing other than you. And the only thing that seems to be other than you is what? The experience. But now that you have a reference point of now understanding and overstanding the depths of the experience, now you can generate this other version of yourself within that experience. And that other version of yourself within that experience is going to be missing something, because that is a dream within a dream. So everything that everything that's within the realm that you're experiencing right now, me and everything else, that is the everything that is outside of yourself that you have created to have this experience. What the system has done has taken that idea and then has just like doubled down every single time on every single version of complicating your interpretations of this reality. So it takes your versions of love, relationships, nature, the soul, the psychology, the body, sciences, the largest of the largest on the universal scale with light years and the galaxies and all that other stuff, and they've turned that into chaos, and they've taken the smallest of the smallest, the atomic nature of reality, and they've turned that into chaos and say everything is so small you can't find it, and everything is so big you can't find it. And the only thing that matters is us right here. So are they lying? Has the system lied? No, it's telling the truth. It's just telling the truth in a way that makes you lie to yourself. And the lies that you've told yourself have enslaved yourself. So the system knows that this is a mechanism that happens as a result of being in this depths of complexity. So what it does is that it rides that wave of you generating a need for something in the so-called future. So it gives you the future. So it generates a consciousness, an illusory consciousness of expanding down the line into the systems that it has pre-positioned for you to fall within, that only add more power and distractions to the experience overall. So the system will tell you over and over and over again, be in the now, be in the moment, be this, be that, be that. Why? Because it wants to empty you out so that you can have this general idea of what a soul is. And in that soul package of you, you're in this pretty little package called a soul. They can now take that package like an Amazon purchase and then ship that package to a library somewhere, a computer cloud library somewhere, and store your soul package for a while. And then basically, like I said, they become gods and kings because now they are the ones moving the souls around. They don't have to really do this. They have to just convince you that it can be done. That's the whole point. The same thing with all those movies like Armageddon, Independence Day, the Alien movies, the Sasquatch movies. They just have to make the movies and then say, oh yeah, that's kind of a baseline of what the theory is based upon. And then they can buy 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 years from your entire so-called soul experience, because they've told you the definitions of what your soul is. And then that's what this whole mainstream reality is. The mainstream reality, or the mainstream and the new age reality, is just another version of adding complexity to your soul to complicate your interpretations of this whole experience. So if you have been dumbed down so much, like I've been saying in all these videos, that's the whole point of this system, is to dumb down your reality so much that not only can you not think for yourself, but even if you can think for yourself, you're thinking the wrong shit. You're thinking yourself deeper into the system. So this is the New Age movement. And every other movement, Flat Earth and Truther movement and all this other stuff. So in that system, you fall into one of those movements, Flat Earth, Truther, whatever, Mandela effect, it's all that other stuff. Point is, you're still reacting to something else that's generating something. So what has the system generated for you to fall within? They've generated the simulation theory, they've generated transhumanism, and they've generated all of these other like inside subcategories to that in order to maintain something believable. So somebody asked in the comment section about UG's approach to this and how it sounds very similar to simulation theory. Like, you don't exist, you don't have a body, this is just a computer grid and the thoughts are thinking themselves. And then that whole thing, it makes sense, right? Like, I was doing the same thing. I was like, oh, fuck. In the beginning, the first part of me listening to UG's stuff, I was like, damn, this is some shit. And then over time, I was like, wait a second. Oh, that's what it is. So the difference is, the difference between what UG is saying and what the system is saying in reference to the simulation theory and all that other stuff is, UG is not saying that you are a soul to be in a simulation. The system is saying that, though. The system needs you to think that you are a soul in order to generate a simulation for that soul. That's what simulation is about. Simulation theory is about. And to take a step even further, now that you are a soul that can be Now that you are a soul, that's a package that you are living in. Now that you have been conditioned to think that you are in a package called the soul, the system now wants to take that package it conditioned you into and now put that package into something more complex. That package, that realm that it wants to put you in, or the idea of yourself in, is the simulated transhumanistic reality, where they are now even deeper versions of gods and kings over you. The same way today, like people who are completely invested in the materialistic realm, they're not. They have no relationship with anything else other than the materialistic realm itself. They have no ideas of it. It's like people who have a car, that they are more of their car than they are. Like their car is more of them than their personality. So you can see how a car has become more of the person than the person. Well, the same thing has happened to the people overall. The system has become more of the people than the people. So the same thing has happened with the soul. And like this is the thing, the soul has become more of the soul than the soul. Like to run that concept into the dead end, which is what it is. Because like I said, you have to have reference points. So that's why that sounds weird, but it makes sense. The soul needs a soul to be a soul. So the soul in the simulation needs souls to have a simulation. So what the system has done is just reverse engineered a bastardized version of what UG has developed, and has left points out. The points that it has left out is that you are not a soul to be in a simulation. But the system isn't telling you that. The system is saying, no, you are a soul. You are different. We are all these separate little things. And the only thing that you need to do is just be cool with the fact that the simulation doesn't make any sense. We, the people who run this simulation, we make sense of this simulation for you. Hence the simulation theory, transhumanism, and so on and so forth. So they're saying that the evolution of your not soul now has a purpose, a meaning. And that meaning and purpose is to what? Download your so-called soul into the simulation that they've created for you. And once the consciousness, or the so-called soul, has been convinced, like I've been saying, that's the end game, to condition souls that they are a soul, so that they realize that soul now becomes enslaved to the universe, the illusory universe that has been generated inside the original illusory universe. It's like the Stockholm syndrome. Somebody kidnaps a child. They've been in the kidnapper's mind traps, mind, body, and soul traps for 10, 15, 20 years. They generate a love for that captor, and that they become the family. Like their universe has now, so much so that they don't even relate to their previous life. In fact, they will hate their lives. In fact, their previous lives in some cases, and sometimes they won't even. You can see the extremes. It goes so deep into the extremes that so-called soul is basically soulless now. So this is what's happening on a massive scale. You have people who are not only, so you can see the complexities of already thinking that you are a soul. Now look at how fucking stupid it is and ridiculous it is that people are now convincing themselves that they are white, and that whiteness has some kind of stature in society, and that whiteness has some kind of, they are better than somebody else. And then even more so, the system itself saying that white people are more evolved than not white people. You see those cereal box ass complexities that people are just like digging through to find that toy, and then they have a whole bunch of cereal box toys and be like, I got it, I found it, I'm not consumed by all the cereal bullshit out there, I got the toy. So people want the fucking answers. They got all these answers, and then they get to their new universe, and they're playing around with all these fucking toys, and all these other people show up to their universe with all their toy boxes, and they're all playing with their fucking toys in the New Age and the Truther community and Flat Earth community, and showing each other all their toys, still sitting in somebody else's false universe, waiting for the gods and the kings of that false universe to decide what they should do with their fucking toys.